You ever see a man walk into a courtroom like he owns the place chin up, gums smacking, eyes daring anyone to meet him? That was Rickleton, sitting there in his press shirt, swinging his cuff like this was a routine traffic stop, not a federal hearing that could end his entire career. You could almost smell the arrogance, and to be honest, I thought the man might just blow the roof off with all that bravado. But what nobody saw coming was the woman who'd walk in next to Judge. Yeah, but not just any judge. Maya Rollins. Not a whisper when she entered, just a cut of crimson in a sea of old wood and beige walls. Her robe wasn't black. It was red-burning, sharp, almost warning you not to blink. Rick, of course, didn't stand, just popped his gum, loud enough for the first 5 rows to hear. "What is this, Halloween in July?" he snickered. But Maya didn't answer, didn't even flinch, just took her seat, gazed like a laser, 30 seconds straight at Rick, not angry, not cold, just weighing him the way you'd weigh a snake behind glass. That's when the room started to shift. Rick, for all his show, tapped the table, tried to get the spotlight back. "So what now?" he barked, voice slicing through the silence. "Are we doing this dance? Or do you want to skip to the part where you tell me about justice and inclusivity?" Still, Maya just watched him, quiet, her presence pressing down like a thick fog, no sound except the faint click of the stenographer's keys. The man started to unravel, elbows wide, grinning, trying to fill the space. "You think that robe scares me? Think walking in here, looking like a bottle of hot sauce, gives you the moral high ground." She just set her fingers on the gavel, not banging, just a warning, a promise. Rick laughed, stretched back, tried to belittle her. "Did you pick that outfit to match your temper or distract from your credentials?" But the real twist came not from Maya's silent sight, came from her history. What Rick didn't know, what nobody in that room knew except her, was that she'd once sat on the federal ethics board, the very group that could suspend any officer with a pattern of violence. Her authority was deeper than her chair. It was written into the law. And Rick, cocky as ever, didn't even see it coming. The tension thickened. Rick got louder, throwing up his history. "I've led raids, kicked down doors, seen real action, and now I'm being judged by a woman dressed for revolution." The room was silent, except for his bravado. Maya just picked up a single sheet from the stack, glanced at it, set it down, her eyes never leaving his. Rick tried again. "What? You gonna look at me all day or pretend this isn't personal?" But the real authority never needs to shout. You know what I mean? She didn't move, didn't blink, just let his noise bounce off the walls. Power isn't always loud, it's often just unmovable. But then, yeah, that happened. Rick snapped. Stood up so fast his chair screeched, slammed the table. Is this a real hearing, or just theater for diversity hires? His venom filled the air, but Maya gave the court clerk a small look, nothing more. The clerk began typing. Rick scoffed. "You serious? What, documenting this?" He stepped forward, tried to shrink her with words. "A black woman under 40 gets a robe, a hammer, and suddenly I'm on trial for not clapping at the diversity parade?" Maya tapped her gavel, 3 times soft, deliberate, clean. Her voice was smooth as stone. "You're entitled to lawful speech, but not to degrading this court." Her words weren't a threat, they were law. Rick kept pushing, desperate. "You think that robe makes you righteous? It just makes you a puppet with better lighting." But her silence, it wasn't submission, it was strategy. That's when he crossed the line, spit landing on the courtroom floor. "This court is lower than me," he sneered. The gallery recoiled, but Maya just looked at him, then at the spit, then back, her silence more damning than any words. Rick, high on adrenaline, muttered, "You don't scare me, Rollins. You earn respect by walking through fire I've walked through plenty. You just walked in here like it's your stage." But that's the thing, she had burned through more in 30 seconds of silence than he had in years of shouting. Finally, Maya spoke, voice calm. "You're confusing arrogance with immunity. That line, let me tell you," it cracked the air. "You've learned to yell, to intimidate, to wear a badge like armor, and use silence as consent. But this room doesn't move to your tempo, doesn't fear your resume, and sure as hell doesn't respect your volume." Rick tried to interrupt, but the mask was slipping. "You want to perform? Fine, but this isn't your stage." He opened his mouth, but the words for the first time didn't come. The courtroom was hers now. Maya reached for a black folder with a red seal, placed it on the bench. This is a formal initiation for a professional conduct evaluation of Officer Rickleton, effective immediately, overseen by me. The man froze. "Who the hell are you?" he croaked, for the first time truly at a loss. Maya answered without raising her voice. "7 years ago, I recommended you for removal from duty for repeated conduct violations. That recommendation was buried. Today, I have the authority to sign." Rick realized the past doesn't burn. It waits in silence and returns fully armed. He tried to retake control, laugh it off. "You think that chair scares me? You think that robe and your little folder make me tremble?" His voice was desperate now. "You're just the latest ringmaster in a federal circus." But Maya just stood, calm as ever, descended the stairs, stopped 2 meters from him, still taller, even at eye level. "I'm not here to scare you," she said, "and this bench doesn't give me power, the law does. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to remind you the law doesn't need to scream to be obeyed." You could feel the wind go out of him. The evidence came crashing down: case files, old complaints, audio logs. The room watched as his own words played out loud from a training seminar. When you take down a black male, make sure he's scared. Fear is compliance. No one gasped, everyone just froze. His bravado, his mythos, his entire philosophy of intimidation was now documented, exposed, and weaponized against him. Rick pleaded with the officers in the gallery. "You know me. You know what I've done out there." But silence was the answer. One old trainee, Keller, the kid he once saved, kept his head down. No loyalty, no defense. "You may have kept a leash," Maya said, "but you strangled more than you secured." The court officer approached. "Present the service weapon and badge of Officer Rickleton, effective immediately." Rick hesitated, peeled the badge off slowly, dropped it on the table with a hollow click. It wasn't a dramatic takedown, not a hero's fall, just a cold, bureaucratic erasure. Maya closed the file, signed a final line, reopened. Authority confirmed. Action proceeding. By that evening, Rick tried to log into the precinct, system access denied. He called, he emailed, every door slammed. Payroll stopped, his wife filed divorce, his daughter erased his name from her family tree. The silence that followed wasn't peace, it was punishment. Online, his name vanished from manuals, footnotes, even memes mocked his old speeches. His voice, once so loud, was now a warning label, a case study in what not to become. But Maya, she didn't celebrate. She kept moving, drafting new ethics policies, revising manuals, refusing interviews. Her victory wasn't personal. It was structural, a system remembering what it once let thrive. Her closing line, when asked why she never named Rickleton, "If I say it, I validate it." There's nothing left to validate. So, you tell me, is justice about making noise or about ending it? Was the system cruel for erasing his name, or finally honest for refusing to let it echo any longer? Share your thoughts below. Where do you draw the line between consequence and erasure, between justice and revenge? Because sometimes the loudest thing in the world isn't a verdict, it's the silence that follows, and the space we choose to leave behind.